Whoa. Hello everyone! Welcome to 2026. Can you believe it's been an entire year since I first made my channel and my New Year's resolution video? Well, I'm here with another one of those. I will say, like last time, it's gonna be kind of unscripted. So again, I'm gonna be very disorganized, but I hope you enjoy the gameplay in the meanwhile. Now that that's out of the way, right, New Year's resolutions. But first, a recap, I guess. 2025 was really difficult, and I bring this up because it's kind of the reason why, as you will soon find out, I was not able to clear a lot of my New Year's resolutions. Among other things, I'll be talking about that. I have a list of my resolutions from last year here. So we have the first one. Read 10 visual novels. I think I did that. It's just not the list I was thinking of. Which is fine. I did start streaming one of the visual novels that I wanted to tackle. And then because I got busy with school, I kind of had to stop, and then I also didn't finish the visual novel. I did that first and foremost because I wanted to log my reactions. I feel like I'm a rather reactive person in the first place, and I don't want to keep going back and forth like, whoa, this changed my life. Whoa, Kisa Tachibana changed my life. Whoa, Kisa Tachibana changed my life. with every line I got. But, you know, it's also just really fun to stream something that I'm interested in and having other people experience the same thing as me, etc, etc. But I wasn't able to finish Jack John because for the reasons that, one, it is a 90+ hour visual novel, and I was streaming at most 5 hours per day that I was actually streaming, and I regularly streamed Tuesdays and Thursdays for that, barring Saturdays, which are my live dub streams for another otome game, which I already cleared, so I don't really count that as part of the 2026 count. But all that to say, I feel like I can check that one off the list. My second goal, which was to write my visual novel, which evidently did not happen, but that's not to say it was for a lack of trying, because what I did was, I was like, hey, professor, can I make a visual novel? Because this is like an arts class and stuff, and it would be cool to do it. And it was approved. I was able to work on my visual novel for a while. However, at the tail end of the semester, before I had to turn it in, I realized I want this story to be one that I can continue freely without it being tied to my real life identity, because I do want to share it on the internet. So last minute for the assignment, I decided to swerve entirely, redo some visuals, and I just made a whole new story instead. So it was kind of a fail, kind of not. I can transfer that knowledge to when I actually make my visual novel, which is one of my priorities still. I think it's fine for me to have failed, and I guess that's like an excuse. But at the same time, failure is also still an outcome. And I'm getting my ass beat. Hold on. I'm getting my ass beat. Now, onto the third. Utao voice bank. I actually did this, okay? I made an Utao voice bank. VCV. And I did it in 3 days, no less. So now I have a Utao voice bank. I didn't formally release it yet, and to be honest, I'm kind of on the fence about doing so. for personal reasons that I won't get into, but I'll insert it here so you guys can hear a sample of it. I'm very proud with how it turned out. So, next on the list was my quote-unquote main YouTube channel. Make videos on it. I didn't do it. For the same reason, I didn't script this video because it would have taken me too long. Are there sharks? Do sharks exist in this mod pack? I kind of didn't check. Anyways, I still do really want to tap into like the otome niche on YouTube because I love otome games. So I'm trying to think of what else I can do, really. I mean, I've been streaming them. So possibly something of that ilk. Or maybe podcasts. That's the other thing I was thinking. Podcasts. Right. So, yeah. We'll see where that takes us. My next one was Nihongo Jouzu. Right. Right. Okay. I actually had the script for this finished, and I also had the recording of it finished. I just never got around to editing it. I'm very sorry. Yeah, I do want to practice more Japanese. I did stream myself getting into a Japanese-only visual novel. It wasn't the initial one I planned on covering, but that is there on the channel if you want to check that out. But I'm still a bit rusty with my Japanese. 日本語が難しい。でも、もっと勉強したい。大学で日本語を勉強したい。This year I do want to actually apply myself more. And I will do it because I want to study at college. So it'll be money out of my pockets. だから、もっと頑張りましょう。In the coming year, I'll do my very best. What's the next one on my list? Art! I did not draw as much as I would have liked in the past year, unfortunately. I did draw a fair amount, especially for my thumbnails. And I did draw assets for myself. And if I recall correctly, my goal was to create... my goal was to create 3 illustrations that I liked. I feel like I did just that. I just want to be able to draw more. 3 illustrations is not enough. Drawing is one of my priorities, definitely. And then we got song covers. I actually did try this, okay? I had it recorded, I had guides commissioned, all that jazz, and I tried mixing it myself, no less. Unfortunately, I put a deadline on myself and I couldn't reach it. And what's more is that, did you know mixing is really hard if you try to do it all by yourself? Yeah, it's pretty hard, but I can't say it wasn't a good learning experience. I do want to try mixing it again, now that I know what to do better. The best teacher truly is just experience. Because without just jumping into that, I wouldn't have known half of what to do now. And now I do. So I'm all the better for it. The problem with me is that I focus too much on trying to prepare myself for what's to come. And then all that preparation is useless because I don't do anything with it. And I think that's just really sad, and I don't want to keep living like that. In 2025, there were things that I did that weren't originally on my list of doing at all. Those two things are streaming, as you might have seen on my channel, and also voice acting. I got into voice acting and that took up a lot of my time along with school and streaming, obviously. I don't really have any background in acting whatsoever, and you can hear it in my first ever auditions when I started out, because again, my thought process was, I have a mic, there's this cool project, I should go audition for it, despite not really knowing the first thing about acting. And that impulsive decision has led to the biggest changes in my life. I am by no means a professional, but despite my lack of experience, I've been able to land myself in some projects. Obviously nothing on the big AAA projects. I mean, I have an AT 2020 and a Dream. I don't even have those Scarlett Focusrite interfaces or the Rode NT1 that every other cool voice actor I know has in their home studio. But Weeball, I also been making use of my multilingual ability, and I've been trying to voice act in other languages too. In fact, I got cast for a fan dub of Limbus Company, but in Japanese. It's a Japanese fan dub as Roja, which I'm really excited about. Greg! ダンナじゃなくて、ダンテ。あなたも私をロジャって呼んで。I feel like I've always wanted to stream. I was just also not ready until I was like, okay, I'm just gonna force myself to stream. My whole reasoning behind that was like, I have stuff to do before this day. If I don't get this stuff done before then, I'm still going to stream, but it'll be like a humiliation ritual. I'll be streaming knowing that I didn't do the stuff I set out to do. If you've seen my earlier streams, they were far from the best quality. I did not have the right audio settings, the balancing was off, my frames keep dropping. It was really frustrating for me. It was also all the more frustrating because it was an archive of myself on the internet failing. And you know, that's not the best feeling exactly, except I can't be too mad about it because I was the one who put myself up to that test, so I guess it could have been worse, but that being said, I wouldn't have been able to better myself if I didn't fail. I've always been afraid of failure. I have cried to my friends saying I got a 93 in one of my classes. That's how afraid of failure I am. I guess it's about finding the balance between going all out because you know you're capable of the stuff you're setting out to do, and at the same time, not allowing your pursuits of perfection hold you back from doing anything in the first place. Something is better than nothing, and I really need that hammered into my head. I feel like streaming is kind of my solution to this. Once I stream, it's scheduled, and now, even if small, there's an expectation for me to go live, and people will get to see me do what I've promised to do, even if I fail. It's the sort of thing that I need as someone who has tried so many different ways to tackle my perfectionism combined with my ADHD. Just being able to give myself a space where I can fail and it's fine because at the very least I'm doing it. Really, I'm much more contemplative about this lately because, you know, I am growing up. I don't think any age is gonna stop me from wanting to create stuff that I want to share with the world. But I do have to think of a way to sustain myself because in this world, we do have to make sacrifices to keep ourselves afloat. With regards to New Year's resolutions, I don't really feel like resolutions really fits me. Maybe? Question mark? I'm not sure. Or maybe the goals I set weren't the right ones that could have fulfilled me. I've tried a lot of methods to get myself to actually do the things that I want because, would you believe it, that's actually an incredibly difficult task for me to do, doing the things I love. I want to write more, I want to draw more, I still want to make my song covers. I just want to keep creating, especially in such a bleak world that is going increasingly hostile towards creatives. I kind of want to keep that pushing. I want to be able to create. I want to be able to share the things I create. I want to be proud of the work I do. I want to impact people's lives with what I do. So, I guess where all of this introspection is leading me, so far as my trajectory for 2026, is a lot of learning. Learning how to fail, learning how to keep doing the things I love, learning where to place my priorities, and I realize I can't really set myself on a specific path because I've always just been a person that follows whatever's the most interesting to me at the moment. It happened to me with voice acting, happened to me with streaming, and I can't really bring myself to restrict that way of living with predetermined goals. Constantly being in a learner's mindset and maybe setting some assignments for myself on the way if I really truly want to do that in order to gain a sense of accomplishment. I think that's the way to go for me, instead of setting any concrete goals. And I hope that this is the way for me to be actually enriched, for me to keep creating while not boxing myself into certain expectations of myself. I want to follow the fear of doing nothing. I want to be guided by that fear of doing nothing at all, instead of being puppeted around by my fear of failure. I hope you all also find yourselves in a very thriving 2026, and I hope we can all better ourselves in the coming year. I suppose that'll be all from me. Thank you so much for listening to my incessant rambles, and I hope that you've been able to ruminate on what you want to take away for yourself as well. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great 2026. Bye bye!